The world's oceans are a very alien place, and we still don't know much about them or the creatures that dwell there. These 10 terrifying sea creatures you didn't know existed are some of the scariest animals that the ocean holds, and we know next to nothing about most of them. Number 10. Megamouth Shark. You aren't liable to run into this species of deepwater shark. It's the smallest of the 3 known extant filter-feeding sharks, a group which also includes the whale shark and the basking shark. The megamouth was discovered in 1976, and fewer than 100 of them have been discovered or caught since. This shark feeds by swimming with its mouth wide open in order to filter water for plankton and jellyfish that it gobbles up. One of the most distinctive features of this shark are its large, rubbery-looking lips. Their large mouths are definitely a little disconcerting, and their strange lips somehow make them seem even more menacing. Despite being a terrifying shark to come across while out for a swim, they don't really pose any danger to humans. They can grow to 18 feet in length and can weigh up to 2,679 pounds based on specimens we've seen so far. Their mouths can expand to be 4 feet 3 inches wide, with 50 rows of teeth in their upper jaw and 75 rows on their lower jaw. This being the case, a person could potentially get swallowed up by accident, which would be a pretty rough ordeal to be sure. Number 9. Gulper Eel. The gulper eel is also known as the pelican eel and lives in the deep ocean. It's only rarely been seen by humans, sometimes being caught in fishing nets. These fish look like eels and are actually relatively closely related to true eels. This eel is called a pelican or gulper eel because its large mouth resembles that of a pelican. This mouth is much larger than the fish's entire body. It's loosely hinged and allows the fish to swallow prey that's much larger than itself. The lower jaw is hinged at the base of the head, with no actual body mass behind it, giving it a very strange appearance. Most of these eels are either black or olive, with some also having a white lateral stripe. They lack pelvic fins, swim bladders, and scales. Gulper eels move by utilizing a whip-like movement of their tail, with the tip of their tail including a tentacled organ that has a pink glow. It can also occasionally give off bright red flashes, which is pretty spectacular. We don't have to worry about becoming a meal for a gulper eel, but their terrifying appearance will make most people happy to avoid them at all costs. Number 8. Frilled Shark. Frilled sharks live in the deep sea in the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. They like to hang out near the ocean floor and are usually found over the outer continental shelf and the upper continental slope. They have been caught as deep as 1,570 meters, although most are caught at a maximum depth of 1,200 meters. Surprisingly, specimens swim much closer to the surface in Suruga Bay in Japan, often being found at depths between 50 and 200 meters. These fish have 6 pairs of frilly gill slits, which give the sharks their name. These fish attack prey by bending their bodies and lunging forward, much like the way a snake strikes. They have long, extended jaws that are ridiculously flexible, allowing them to open their mouths wide and swallow large prey whole. Its needle-like teeth latch onto prey and make escape almost impossible once the shark chomps down. Frilled sharks feed on cephalopods, bony fish, and even other sharks. These sharks are fairly uncommon, with an extended eel-like body. Many people think that they're tied to myths about sea serpents, but that opinion is hard to confirm. Still, these sharks look very strange, and their mouths are absolutely packed with teeth. They can deliver a very powerful bite, but are slow-moving when compared to conventional sharks. Number 7. Giant Squid. We still don't know much about giant squid, although we have confirmed that they do exist. They can grow to insane lengths, with some specimens measuring 12 to 13 meters long, which is just nuts. Their mantle is generally around 2 meters long, give or take, and the length of their tentacles don't usually exceed 5 meters long. Some claims of giant squid measuring up to 20 meters have been made, but haven't been properly documented. The giant squid is actually smaller in size than the colossal squid, which is thought to be at least twice as long. Both of these creatures are the stuff of nightmares, and just the thought of crossing one in the ocean is enough to terrify many people. Number 6. Goblin Shark. These sharks live in the deep sea and are only rarely found. They've been around for at least 125 million years and have a very distinct, flattened snout with protruding jaws that are lined with teeth that look like nails. This gives them a downright freaky appearance, and we think that they absolutely look like little oceanic goblins. They have flat, flabby bodies and small fins, preferring to live a lazy, sluggish lifestyle. Its snout is covered with sensors that allow it to pick up electric fields produced by nearby prey. Once prey is located, goblin sharks snatch it up by extending its jaws with lightning speed, which is a little disconcerting to see considering how slow the shark moves otherwise. As goblin sharks age, their snout actually decreases in size, eventually resembling a dagger as opposed to its stereotypical sword-shaped snout. These sharks live in the Atlantic, Pacific, and Indian Oceans, with a fairly wide habitat range. Goblin sharks grow to lengths of 10 to 13 feet and are usually found at depths greater than 100 meters. Younger goblin sharks are usually caught closer to the surface than adults. They can live in both shallow and deep water, with a goblin shark tooth once being found lodged in a cable at a depth of 1,370 meters. Number 5. Terrible claw lobster. This monstrous lobster lives in the deep sea and was only discovered back in 2007. Its two claws are different sizes. Both are elongated and have long rows of teeth on their inner surface. The carapace of these lobsters measure around 31 millimeters, making them pretty teeny tiny, which helps to sum up why they went undiscovered for so long. They have a translucent white color with some reddish pink coloring tossed in. These lobsters are usually found off the coast of the Philippines at depths of around 250 meters. It's been placed in its genus of its own and is quite unique, despite being a little terrifying to look at. It's a good thing they're so small, or they'd be a lot more worrisome with their creepy, awkward-looking claws. Number 4. Giant isopod. One of close to 20 known species of large isopods, the giant isopod is the largest one by far. They live in cold, deep waters and are found in the Atlantic, Pacific, and Indian Oceans. They are the largest isopod in the world, although some other species can occasionally grow to similar lengths, although that happens only rarely. They look a lot like a common woodlouse or pillbug, and that's because they're actually related, despite living in very different environments. They are a perfect example of deep-sea gigantism and can grow to over 1 foot long. Fully grown specimens can weigh 3.7 pounds and measure 30 inches long. We're happy giving these creepy ocean crawlers a wide berth, and just looking at them gives us the creeps. They've been around since the age of the dinosaurs and are perfectly adapted to survive in extreme conditions. Number 3. Tongue-eating louse. This creepy little parasite feeds by entering fish through their gills and attaching themselves to their tongue and gills. The female tongue-eating louse takes the tongue, and the male takes up his position on the fill arches behind her. Females measure between 8 and 29 millimeters long, and males usually grow to be between 7.5 and 15 millimeters long. The female extracts blood from the tongue through its front claws, eventually causing the tongue to atrophy and fall off. The fish then replaces the fish's tongue. This doesn't cause much more damage to the host, although fish found with at least 2 lice attached did seem to be more malnourished than others, often being underweight. Once attached, some lice feed on the blood of their host, while others mainly feed on the mucus it produces. When a host fish dies, these disgusting sea lice then swim out and attach themselves to its body externally, although we don't know what happens to them after that point. These fish are definitely terrifying, but currently pose no threat to humans, although they have been known to bite people if they're disturbed. That being said, sometimes commercial snappers are shipped with tongue-eating lice attached, meaning that you could potentially pick up a snapper and find a louse hanging out in its mouth. Number 2. Snaggletooth. This fish doesn't grow to be very large, but that's quite alright because they already look scary enough at their current size. These fish have gaping mouths that are filled with teeth that look like hypodermic needles. One bite would probably cause a lot of damage, especially when you consider that its teeth curve inward, a bit like a serpent's fangs. Snaggletooth fish live in the deep ocean, and they use bioluminescence to attract prey, using a red barbel on their chin to lure small fish. When prey is within striking distance, these fish lash out, snatching up prey in the blink of an eye. Their skin is very delicate, despite their tough appearance, and is easily damaged or torn. Most specimens that we've encountered have been caught in nets. with most of those suffering extreme injuries due to the net rubbing against their skin. Maybe that's a good thing, because if this fish was a little more hardy, it would be an even more frightening predator. Their heads resemble those of lice, looking incredibly alien as far as we're concerned. Snaggletooths are also known as stare eaters, which is much too nice of a name for such a scary-looking fish. Snaggletooth definitely suits them much better. Number 1. Sarcastic Fringehead. Hands down one of the most terrifying sea creatures in existence, the sarcastic fringehead looks like something out of Jurassic Park. They can be extremely territorial and aggressive if encountered, and males fight by smashing their massive mouths into each other. This helps them determine what fish is larger, with the loser retreating and ceding territory to its larger opponent. They can grow to be up to 30 meters long and move in short, fast movements, darting through the water. They are brown in color with bright stripes covering its body. These fish live in the Pacific Ocean and are generally found off the coast of the US between San Francisco and Baja. If we crossed with one of these alien-looking creatures in the wild, we'd absolutely have a heart attack on the spot. At the very least, the experience would scare the hell out of us, especially if the fish began chasing us, as it seems to want to do, more often than not. Thankfully, they only grow to be about a foot long in total, so they couldn't overpower a person. But we're sure it would do a decent amount of damage with that enormous mouth and needle-like teeth.
Number 1. The Goblin Shark. Since only a few of these deep-sea sharks have been caught by fishing boats, not much is known about them. It has a prominent snout and a retractable jaw. Its razor-sharp teeth are enough to send even the strongest person swimming for land. Number 2. The Dragonfish. Although the dragonfish is found over a mile below sea level, it starts its life on top of the water as an egg. As it gets older, it descends to the depths of the sea. As an adult, it's able to produce its own light, which is known as bioluminescence. One of its lights is found on a barbell attached to its jaw. Its razor-sharp teeth make it a very frightening creature. Number 3. The Frilled Shark. This is a shark that is rarely seen and lives in the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. Scientists believe that when this shark stalks its prey, it bends its body like a snake. When it's close enough, it swallows its victim whole. Thankfully, humans are not close enough in the water to become its prey. Number 4. The Vampire Squid. This sea creature has the largest eyes of any animal in the world, proportionally speaking. This creature lives in the depths of the deep sea. Many people think that it gets its name because it sucks blood with its tentacles, but this is false. The tentacles are actually rather weak. It actually gets its name from its red eyes and its cloak-like webbing. It is a very scary-looking creature. Number 5. The Big Red Jellyfish. This huge jellyfish can grow to be over 3 feet in length, and it's slightly red, which is where the name came from. Rather than using tentacles like most jellyfish have, this type uses fleshy feeding arms to capture its prey. Number 6. The Giant Squid. The giant squid was just a legend for a long time because it was rarely ever seen by humans. It lives deep below the waves, and its only predator is the sperm whale. The two are famous for their deadly fights beneath the sea, and their carcasses can often be found bearing the marks of the battle. This is a creature that you would not want to run into underwater. Number 7. The Blobfish. This fish lives deep in the waters of Australia and New Zealand and lives almost 4,000 feet below sea level. Because the pressure at these depths is much higher than near the surface, the blob's fish body is a gelatinous mass. Since humans cannot get that far under the sea, you won't need to worry about running into this one. Number 8. The Coffin Fish. This fish looks like a pink spine-covered balloon. Its appearance makes it seem to be the cross between a pufferfish and an anglerfish. They hunt deep below the sea, and they catch their prey using a fleshy protrusion the same way that an anglerfish does. When they feel threatened, they are capable of puffing themselves up to scare away their enemies, the same way that a pufferfish can. Number 9. The giant isopod. This creature is permanently stuck to the bottom of the ocean. At no time are they able to swim to the surface. It lives in the cold, dark waters of the Atlantic Ocean and the Arctic Circle. It resembles a crab, but is much larger in size. Since it doesn't float to the surface, you won't need to worry about running into one if you're swimming in the ocean. Number 10. Stargazer. This is a very creepy-looking creature. It gets its name because its eyes and mouth are located on top of its head. It buries itself in the sand and it pops up to attack its prey when it swims by. Some species of the stargazer are electric, and they can deliver lethal shocks to their prey and predators. Number 11. The Chimera. This creature should not be confused with the Chimera of Greek mythology, and they're also known as sharks. While these creatures used to be found all over the ocean, today they are mostly confined to deep water. They have the body of a shark and the mouth of a crocodile. Luckily, they no longer come to the surface. Number 12. The Amphipod. These tiny crustaceans are no longer than an inch, and they live deep in the Pacific Ocean and close to 4 miles beneath the waves. There are some amphipods, however, that can grow a foot in length. They're a very creepy creature and are the cross between a lobster and a cockroach. Number 13. The Pacific Black Dragon. This creature got its name for a reason. Since most of its prey is bioluminescent, its stomach is designed to prevent light from radiating through. It can easily sneak up on its prey without them even knowing. It actually looks like a black garden snake. If you hate snakes, you'll want to steer clear of this creature. Number 14. The Dumbo Octopus. This octopus got his name from the elephant in the Disney movie, Dumbo. It's not quite as terrifying as the frilled shark, however it is so strange-looking it deserves a spot on our list. Number 15. The Anglerfish. This fish looks like something out of a science fiction movie. This fish got its name for the way that it hunts. It uses a fleshy protrusion that comes out the top of its head as a lure to attract its prey. Once they're close enough, it will use its razor-sharp teeth to eat the unlucky creature. Number 16. The Gulper Eel. This eel is also known as the pelican eel and is one of the strangest and scariest-looking creatures in the deep sea. Its mouth is huge, making it possible for it to swallow prey that is much larger than itself. Its razor-sharp teeth also allow it to chew its food if necessary. Number 17. The Snaggletooth. This is by far one of the ugliest creatures on our list. Its razor-sharp teeth are jagged and uneven, making it look very threatening. It can produce its own light, which makes it very easy to hunt its prey. Number 18. The Hatchetfish. This fish should not be confused with the hatchetfish that can be found in many aquariums and are freshwater fish. This deep-sea saltwater fish was named for its distinctive hatchet-shaped body. Its eyes are located on top of its head, which allows it to catch food that falls from above. It is only found in the great depths of the ocean. Therefore, you won't need to worry about running into one of these frightening creatures. Number 19. The Barrel Eye. These odd-looking creatures are similar to the hatchetfish, as they have eyes on top of their heads to catch their prey. What makes them so unique is the transparent dome on top of their head that encases and protects their eyes. Number 20. The Grenadier. This is a bottom-dwelling fish, and they are very abundant as they make up about 15% of the deep-sea population. They are found at depths of almost 4 miles. There are very few creatures that can survive in such a deep, hostile environment. Its razor-sharp teeth make it a force to be reckoned with. Number 21. The Blue-Ringed Octopus. At first glance, this octopus doesn't look scary. It's actually quite pretty, in fact. However, looks can be deceiving. It's actually one of the most dangerous creatures in the ocean. Its venom is extremely potent. Since there is no antivenom, you want to steer clear of this creature. Number 22. The Megamouth Shark. This species of deep-water shark was discovered in 1976 and has rarely ever been seen by humans. Because it is rarely seen, there is really no scientific facts about this creature. Its distinctive feature is its gaping mouth, which can swallow its prey whole. Number 23. The Viper Fish. During the day, this fish stays in the deep water. At night, it travels to the surface and has been found in the nets of deep-sea fishermen. Since they cannot survive in captivity, not much is known about them except that they are very scary-looking. Just their razor-sharp teeth are enough to make anyone run away screaming. Number 24. The Black Swallower. This fish is also known as the Great Swallower. What makes this creature so scary is its ability to consume and digest. This relatively small creature can eat and digest prey that is over 10 times its size. Number 25. Gigantic Sunfish. A group of scuba divers was in the water taking photos when they happened upon this gigantic sunfish. The fish can grow up to 9 feet long and can weigh over 5,000 pounds. The sunfish that the divers came across was large enough to easily inhale a grown man. Luckily for the men, this type of fish does not eat humans. Just the sheer size of this fish alone is enough to make a person swim in the other direction if they were to happen upon it. Subscribe for more.